record on this. Yay.
Yay.
So now I'm going to admit another person. All right. All right, connecting to her. Hello, Anna. Glad to have you. So I got Cody, I got Anna. I'm going to wait a little while and just let some more people come in and join us. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Are we interacting? Is this an interactive or
I
is
do
it
hear you. Yes, there's going to be time for interaction. Absolutely. I'm going
okay?
to do a lot of talking. I have 5 pages of notes, lots of notes. This is small writing here. So
Love
I'm
it.
through all of this. It's a big outline. I just sat down. It's like one of those days where I've
Mhm.
written a couple of different days in my life. I've written a book in a day, where I was just super
Yes.
tired and I just couldn't stop typing. It's like spirit just poured it through me. And
Oh,
that's
I
what
love that.
this outline too. And this outline is probably going to turn into another book, but
Right on. Well, glad we get to hear the first, you get to share it with us first. That's exciting.
yes, absolutely. I'm excited. I'm hoping some more people can get in here. I put another post up on Facebook to just let everybody know, hey, it's starting. Come on in.
Yes.
Okay, let me go ahead and copy paste a couple of things really quick. See. No, I want to copy, not remove or forward. Copy. Oh gosh, I swear. Okay. And I am recording this so that I will be able to share it and post it as a video for people to watch later. So I know not everybody has the same schedule.
Right.
Oh, I'm gonna wait until about, I don't know, another 5 minutes maybe, and then I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
start. Yeah.
Your coral color and turquoise is really pretty on you.
Oh, thank you. Yep. This is these are colors that I love.
Mm-hmm. They
Love to
suit you
play.
well.
Thank you. Yeah, this whole shirt thing right here that I'm wearing over
Uh-huh.
the sweater is new. It just showed up in the mail today. It wasn't supposed to get here for a few days and it showed up. Oh,
Well,
perfect. It matches.
see, the webinar closed, just showed up just in time.
Yeah,
Love it. Love it.
it's awesome. And a lot of people aren't on Facebook. They should be. I put out a bunch of emails and messages earlier this morning too, so hopefully that helped. Oh, somebody's asking to join my group. Oh, but
Woohoo.
you didn't answer any questions. That's not gonna work.
Since I'm going to be up and moving,
Mhm.
um, is it cool if I just
Yeah,
have
go
my
ahead.
photo not there and go do my thing, but I'm
Yeah, that's
listening?
fine. Yeah,
Okay. I am listening and I'll holler. I can still talk from my headphones, so.
cool. Be oh, come on. Can anybody hear my music in my office right now?
I cannot.
You cannot. Okay. Alexa, volume 7. Can it be heard now?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Alexa, volume 5. Won't worry about it then. If I get it louder than 7, I'm gonna feel like I have to yell. Let's see if anybody else. Oh, somebody else. It. Yay. Hello, Chris. Good to have you.
Hi.
Hello. We're gonna start shortly. I'm giving it time to let some more people enter.
You caught me right in the middle of uploading videos for my YouTube channel, so I'm taking a break and I'm good.
Awesome. I was just telling the others that I have 5 pages of notes here. I just sat down and poured out, and this is really tiny font too. I just poured out an outline like without stopping in one day. So yeah, we're gonna go through all of this. And then of course, a few days later, I had to add more. Then I had to add more. I do that when I write. There's been a couple of books that I just wrote in a day because my fingers wouldn't stop.
Like books? Like,
Smaller ones,
oh,
nonfiction type things.
oh, okay. I was like, books are hard to write in one day. It's probably been done before, but books are hard to write in one day.
Spirit guided stuff. I just was being
Mhm.
told, go, 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 right. This is what you need to say. Okay. Oh.
Started channeling, and here it came.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Anna. $90 to nothing. And anybody who, as I go through this, wants to ask me questions, you can type them and I can hear them here. Or if I stop, say, hey, are there any questions? You can unmute yourself and talk at that time too, whatever you want to do. But if I'm just talking, and you don't want to forget your question, you can type it in there. I get that way. I want you to be able to hear what I'm saying and not forget your question. So I'm going to go ahead and get going and try to keep my eye on people coming in. And I'm going to just write in here. Okay. All righty. Thank you for joining me, you guys. And I'm going to save this video. I am recording it right now so that it can be shared later, because I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, darn, even though I put out a million messages and posts that it was being put up.
I'm gonna be honest, I forgot until I saw your Facebook message.
Okay, I'm sure that happened with a lot of people. But so how do we start? The starting is slow. Whenever there's any kind of healing happening, it's important to start slow and be patient with yourself along the way. That's really important. But the first step that I like to tell people about is becoming aware of where your triggers are. And you can notice that just by when you're in different situations and you're feeling triggered, you're feeling a little agitated, to just stop, take a step back, recognize it, notice it, and make a mental note for yourself so that when you have time and you're not in a situation where you're having to devote your attention, you can do what I call my trigger unlocking method. And what this is where you go back in your mind to, when did I feel exactly this way before? There'll be a certain level of upset to it, a certain level of anger, maybe a certain level of resentment, whatever it is. When did I feel exactly this way before? Okay, so when did I feel this way before that and before that? And go all the way back to the very first time that you felt exactly that way. And you're going to find that there are similarities between the situations, and you're going to find what it did inside of you when it happened the first time, which is really what you're responding right now to, not the most recent thing, but all the way back in time to that first time that it happened. So that's something to start doing with all the different things that trigger you, that affect you emotionally in not a way that you appreciate. What this will do is it'll start to help you connect with who you are, connect with what's going on with you, so that you can heal those little things that have happened along the way so that they no longer affect you and damage current relationships with people, because they will if you let them and you don't recognize what's really happening. And if everybody wants to, here, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody for now while I talk. And then as I go ahead and say to, are there any questions? People can talk about that. So the next thing that I like to talk about is recalling your soul. One thing that happens as we go through different trauma points in our lives is our soul can actually break apart in different fragments. And so different parts of it are left along the way in our lives here and there. It's a way that our mind, our bodies try to protect us from all the damage. Instead of carrying all of that trauma in our souls and all of our cells of our body with us as we go, it'll leave those pieces of our souls behind. And so something that you can do is to call those parts back to you. That takes a little bit of time to sit in a place where you can go back to, you can think about these moments. You'll start to do these trigger things and it'll start to open up these memories to these different times in your childhood. So then you can go back to those times and go back just before that trauma happened and think about who you were in that moment. Think about how happy you were. Think about maybe how safe you felt, whatever the parts of you were that you really liked, that felt like you before that trauma moment. And just feel like you're calling it back to yourself. Just being that person again for a moment, feeling that person. And as you do that, you are calling back those parts of you that you lost and becoming more whole and becoming more you. And also at the same time, as a side effect, putting up a little bit of a barrier to that type of trauma being able to affect you the same way again, even being able to get at you at all. And so I'm going to stop for a moment there. Does anybody have any questions about the triggers or the soul parts that I was just talking about so far? Okay. Does anybody want to talk about how this might be something they can relate to? Maybe some of you have tried some of this in the past. Okay. So the next thing is daily journaling. Journaling is really important for a lot of different reasons, and I highly recommend it. So this can help with capturing those moments in your life that we've been talking about for the trigger unlocking and for the recalling your soul. It can tap you back into those feelings and those thoughts for you. So this can help you with those steps. It can help you with that trigger unlocking. It can help you with that recalling of your soul. And it can help you with holding on to the feelings that you want to have and enhancing those. And the more you write about those and write about those and write about those, your brain is seeing it and recognizing it because it's your handwriting. And it's recognizing the feeling of your hand making those motions. And that it does something really special in the brain. Whenever you're reading something that's in text or in somebody else's handwriting, sure, it'll get absorbed, but when it's in your handwriting, it's different. And when you're writing it, it's different. So this process is the first step to having control over your regular thoughts and your emotional focus. Getting control of your thoughts is super important. Let me see if I brought that up. I don't think I did later, so I'm going to bring that up now. as you start to do this and you start to recognize your emotions and the thought patterns that you're having on a daily basis, you can really capture those in a moment when you say something negative, like, oh, shoot, I forgot that again. You can switch it around and say, oh, I just remembered. I'm remembering now. And, or if you say, my dang car, it just keeps having this one little problem. Oh, you can turn that around and say, I'm really, really grateful that I have a car. Even though it has issues, I have a car. That's awesome. I'm glad I'm not having to walk all the way across town. So catch all of those times when you might be negative on yourself or on anything and just switch it around. And that takes practice, takes a lot of practice. And one thing that's really interesting, I've done a little of those things. I've just saw some type. Daily journaling you do every day. That's great. What was I just gonna say? I shouldn't distract myself like that. But you will find that the more you do something, such as journaling, such as catching your thoughts and shifting them when they get into a negative pattern, it will become habit after 3 full weeks of doing this. 21 days makes something a habit. And if you're doing it for 60 or more days, that makes it unconscious. Then it becomes an unconscious thing you do. You just naturally grab your journal and start writing in it at a certain time of day. Or you just naturally switch a thought around if it wasn't coming through in a positive way that was helpful to you. So the more and more you do these things, the more and more they become habit. And then you're shifting what you're putting out, and whatever you put out, the universe is going to bring back to you. So, does anybody have any questions about the thoughts and how to do that? And at any point you can unmute if you want to talk, or you can just type.
I was just going to say, I've found journaling, of course, John and I had started with doing a Little House journal business. And so, of course, giving journal advice and things, and we've both journal ourselves. But something I've learned in my journey is I don't always journal every day. I will go through seasons where I do, and that's important at those times. But I found that, beating yourself up for missing a day or two, or even a week when things get, life gets busy or something happens is more harmful than just journaling when you make time to do it and you go for it and then you feel pulled to that. And so just don't beat yourself up if you miss a day, or, you think, oh, I should write that down. And dream journaling and things like that are so great, but I don't make it, I guess you could say, a religious practice. It's like, when my soul feels called to it, I go to it, and I definitely enjoy it, and I keep my journal, and sometimes I reflect, and that's been really helpful for me. So, but yeah, I like the idea of turning those thoughts around and using the journal to catch those things. That's a great idea.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cody. And let's see. Just working on my lucky girl mindset. Love that. So, one of the things that I am doing is during part of my day, I have a couple of different times a day that I journal. And during the nighttime, I like to journal about all of the things that have happened in my day that have brought me closer to where I'm going, that have got me closer to my goals, that have been helpful to me in any way, shape, or form. And by doing that, what that'll do when you journal at nighttime and you get yourself into a positive mindset through the journaling at nighttime is you will go to sleep with these great, manifesting energies and feelings. And whatever state that you fall asleep in, you're going to wake up in and start your next day with. So if you want to start your next day with a really good state of mind, go to sleep with a really good state of mind. Write about all of the things that are going to put you there, and you will get there. So that's one of the things I love about journaling also. So next, you can get into the healing, and you're already doing some healing with what I've just talked about, but getting a little bit deeper as you go is really important to continue on your journey. And meditation is something I'd like to talk about next. Meditation is tremendously healing. It actually transforms the gray matter in your brain. It calms, soothes, and centers. When you are in daily meditation, like I said, for 21 plus days, it will become a habit. But beyond that, you will find huge changes in your responses to people, to things, to your sleep patterns, your calmness, your centeredness, and more. Everything will shift. If you start to make that a habit and do it every single day for at least 3 weeks, things absolutely shift in your life. Has anybody else experienced this with meditation? Okay.
Yes, meditation's huge. Sorry, my hands were full and I couldn't get to my mute button. Oh my goodness, meditation's changed my life. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Thank you, Cody.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that meditation is something that people say, oh, I'm not doing it right. I don't know how to do it. I can't meditate. I can't calm down. I can't stop my mind, all of that. But there's lots of different ways to meditate. You can stand. One of the ways that I like to tell people they can do, I struggle with meditation. I do it and I don't always think it's going how it's supposed to. And the point is, if you're trying, if you're putting an effort in, it's doing something positive for you, I promise you. And the more you try it and the more you put an effort in, the more natural it becomes and the more you find different ways that work for you with meditation. One of the ways that I like to tell people to get started is in the shower. Because when you're in the shower, your mind's already in an alpha state. So you're already somewhat relaxed, almost in a trance state, because you're just like, oh, this is nice. So you can imagine that you're washing away not only the dirt on your body, but any dirt and grime in your mind as well, and in your spirit and in your energy. Just imagine it's all going down the drain. And then maybe turn the water up a little warmer and just imagine this positive energy is now flowing over you and to start your day with. That's something really simple. Taking a walk in nature can be a meditation also, because you're just connecting with what's now, what's present, these beautiful trees around you, the birds singing, that cute little squirrel running over there and the dog going after it, whatever's present in nature, and its nature itself is super healing. And we'll get into that too. You can also use a guided meditation that you could find on YouTube, or a lot of other applications and channels have different guided meditations that you can do. I have some of my guided meditations up on YouTube and I'm working on creating more. And so, as well as that, lots of books talk about different meditations you can do. If you just simply sit though, and just breathe and focus on your breath and feel your breath going in and out of your body, let your thoughts go and do whatever they're going to do. Don't try to turn them off or do something with your thoughts. Just be in your breath and notice your thoughts. Maybe instead of putting judgment on them or letting yourself get swept up by them, label them. Then it's like you're watching a movie. Okay, so that's a work thought. Okay, so that's a house cleaning thought, whatever it is. And then bring your mind back to your breath. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, and feeling the breath go in and out of your body. Then your thoughts will come back. Okay, that's a relationship thought. And I'm breathing. And just set a timer and do that for a few minutes every day. Just a few minutes makes a huge difference. As you go through time, you might raise it a little bit, and then you can imagine different things. You can visualize yourself in a scenario for the day that you want to be successful in. And I promise you'll be more successful when you do that. There's lots of different things you can do with meditation, but just getting started, just getting into it and trying it and doing it, even if you feel like you struggle, it's okay. Just making the effort to do it is huge. And I'll tell you, for myself, it took me years before I felt like it was a natural, lazy thing to do. Years, because my mind was super busy all the time, always going everywhere. And I have ADHD, so that's part of it. But you can absolutely become more natural with this the more that you do it. So then nature is tremendously healing, because we are not just spirit, but we are part earth. And so when we actually physically connect to the earth, it makes huge changes and helps for us. There was a man who grounded himself to the earth through his bed. He took some wires, ran it to his bed, and then he ran it outside and through the window and grounded into the earth with these wires. And he started finding that he didn't have all of the aches and pains and bodily problems that he had before he started doing this. And plus his mind was more clear. He was happier because he was grounding to the earth every day, literally with wires. I don't, what's that? Are you wanting to say something, Chris? I thought I saw your hand move.
I read about that actually.
Did you?
I don't
Yeah.
remember where I read that, but I read something about that man. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I like that he did that and that he talked about it because it really showed that that actually works. And we can do that in a much simpler way than wires just by going outside, especially if our feet are bare, because then we're physically connecting to the earth. And that actually makes a huge difference. So I like to go outside in the morning with my cup of tea. I used to drink coffee, but now my heart won't let me, so I drink tea. So I go out and I drink my tea and I watch the birds and have the nature healing and ground to the earth. Unless it's like 30 degrees outside, then I don't. Unless I'm having a hot flash, then I do. All depends on what's going on. But even if we're just outside and just realizing that we're on the ground and we're part of the earth, that mental thing, our brains are really magical and powerful, and that can do it for us. It just put your hand on a tree, touch your plants. That can be very grounding. So does anybody have any questions so far that they want to bring up? Cody says there's an excellent documentary about grounding on YouTube. That's awesome. There's all kinds
Yeah,
of
it's
stuff on YouTube.
really well done. And it's like an hour and so long. And they interview the
Yeah.
man you're speaking of as well
Uh-huh.
as others. And they talk about like this grounding mats and sheets and things they now make. All kinds
Cool.
of course, the easiest way is to stand on the earth. But
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
cool how much science has backed how this really does make a difference for our bodies. And it's becoming more and more known that
Mhm.
grounding is beneficial. Very cool.
You know, in a personal story for myself, I had gone through a surgery on my uterus and I was still healing from that. It had only been a day and I had to be at an event. We were doing a Pagan Pride festival. And so I had to be at this booth at my event all day. So I took my shoes and socks off and I just was on the earth physically all day. And at the end of the day, had more energy than at the beginning of the day, which is unheard of for me because when I'm around people, it drains me. But being connected to the earth, I was fully energized, fully healed, had no pain at all whatsoever. My uterus completely healed. So yeah, just grounding. It's amazing
It's
what it will
awesome.
do. So then journaling was already brought up. And as you start, it becomes easier. I think I talked a lot about that. Let's see, and I talked about connecting with the positive already. And salt baths, that's another good way to do some healing because actually that's one of the ways you can ground. It will give you a grounding element with that because of the salts from the earth. So that connects you with something of earth. And it'll also clear and pull negative ions out of you. And so, and I already talked about this next part. A lot of these things I'm just talking about as we go along. How many people of you like to take salt baths every now and then, or have even thought about salt baths?
I would if I had a bathtub.
Aw.
That's one of my biggest regrets in this house. We just did a shower. And
Yeah.
now that I went through my awakening and, being an empath and everything, I've learned how beneficial water is to me and baths, and I miss so much.
Well,
And so yeah,
one
soak your
thing you
feet.
can,
I do
yeah,
that.
that's just gonna say that. Yeah, soak your feet. That's a good thing
Hmm.
to do.
But it's not the same as a
It's
warm bath.
not. Yeah.
But it does help.
Well, let's see. Let me see where else I am. Okay, and another thing to do as you're going through your healing process is building good habits. while you go through your healing and you're allowing all of these emotions to come up and you're journaling about them and you're meditating and all of this, different new emotions are going to come up that you have forgotten about. Memories are going to come up that you have forgotten about. And so the better habits that you have as you go throughout your day, the better time you're going to have processing all of this and dealing with all of this. And I talked about how 21 days creates a habit and 60 days makes it a subconscious activity. So meditating, journaling, earthing, those are all really positive habits. And if you can think of any other positive habits that you know you need to shift in your life, maybe you're on Facebook media too much. Maybe you can think of something you could do instead of that, that would be a positive, helpful thing for you. Remember, I was talking about replacing your thoughts. You can also replace your habits. So can anybody think of some negative habits that they know they need to shift with something more positive in their life?
I'm trying to not scroll on TikTok so much.
I hear you. I run into the same problem sometimes.
I'm learning to become the creator of content, not the watcher of content.
Awesome. That's a good replacement for
It's
sure.
still rough. It's still rough, but
Yes. Yes.
doing it.
You scroll too much and then an hour's gone by. Oh, shoot. So the next stage is releasing toxicity. You will begin to notice that there are people around you that make you feel good and people around you that make you feel drained when you have spent time with them. So what do? Spend less time with them. If you know that they intend harm for you, which some people actually do, kindly let them go. And if they're not aware of this, or maybe they're your mom, you never know who they are, then you can just spend less energy, spend less time, and also understand that a lot of times people are spewing negativity all over the place and even projecting their own negative feelings and emotions onto other people to the point where they can feel it. But stop and remember that it isn't about you. No matter how personal they make it seem, it's about them. It's all about them. Everything that we do, everything that we think and go through in our life, it's about us, and everybody else mirrors that for us. So you don't need to have a big, strong emotion about it. Just let them do their thing, be their own thing, and try not to spend so much time and energy with people that make you feel drained and lousy. How many can count on one hand or more than one hand the number of people in your life that make you feel drained? Yeah. Mm-hmm. They are there. So start respecting yourself and caring for yourself by spending less time with those people. By doing that, you're making room for people that are going to be good for you, and they're going to make you feel energized and happy. So at least 3 in particular. Yeah. Okay. Another thing is to stop saying yes when you mean no. Every time you say yes when you don't mean it, you're betraying yourself. Care for yourself first, and then you're going to have enough to care for others. It's like, when you're on an airplane and they tell the parents to breathe in their own mask and get that right before they get the child's mask right on them. You have to take care of yourself. Otherwise, there won't be anything of you to help others and take care of others. So every single time you say yes, when you have absolutely no energy to do it, you're not helping anybody, you or them. So save your yeses. Start by saving your yeses for what you do have energy for, you do have time for. How many times lately would you say that you have been saying yes when you don't, when you shouldn't, when you know it's really a no in your mind and in your heart?
I've noticed myself saying no a lot more recently, actually, only because I think I was forcing myself to heal through something, and I've been realizing it's not fun anymore. I want to bring the fun back
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
So I just haven't gone to the event.
Yeah, that's good.
I know it's the opposite of the question you just asked, but that's just what
That's
I've
good. It's
noticed.
kind of the same thing. Yeah.
It's just what I've noticed in the last 2 weeks. I'm like, I don't want to go.
I hear you.
So
It
So
was so
next,
hard. Oh,
go ahead. Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say I've healed past that, but I remembered dearly how hard it was as a recovering people pleaser
Yes,
to
yes.
say no to people I cared about, and because I felt like I was betraying them somehow, or being lazy, or fill in the blank with some other negative thing about myself if I wasn't doing what they thought I needed to do, or what they
Yeah.
maybe in good intention just asked me to do, but I knew wasn't a fit for me. But I've definitely come a long way, and saying no is really easy now. And I feel so good whenever I stand up for myself and be like, thanks, but that's not a fit for me, you know?
I
So
love that.
it's worth it. It's worth
Yes,
it. It's hard at first, but it's so worth it when you do it.
absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
What about you, Anna? How often do you find yourself saying yes when you shouldn't?
Way too many times
Mhm.
daily.
Are you ready to make some changes to that habit?
Yes. Yes.
Good. Good. Say yes to yourself.
Yes. Yes to myself.
That's right. Thank you. And so then next, another way to release toxicity is honesty. Every time you're honest with yourself and with others, you align more and more with your authentic self, with the real you. And not only are you respectful to others with your honesty, but you're respectful with yourself too. And so that's super, super vital. And a lot of people don't realize how often they aren't completely honest, little white lies here and there, here and there. Just make somebody feel good, little white lies. And I'm not talking about tact. I'm talking about, little tiny lies that you feel like aren't a big deal, but it'll just save somebody's mood or whatever it is, or you'll just look a little bit better and maybe you'll get the promotion if you tell a little lie. And so it can be hard to move away from that habit for a lot of people. But as you start doing it, you will start feeling a little bit better and a little bit better, and it'll release things out of your body the more honest you are all the time with yourself and with others. And does anybody have anything they want to say at this point before I keep going? Oh, it looks like we got another person to come in. Yay. Hello. Let's see. Welcome. Glad to have you.
Screenwriters and authors, can I get your help?
What was that? Welcome, Robin. Okay, we've been talking for a while now, and right now I am talking about releasing toxicity. And the next on my list about that is to protection from others' negativity. Now, before I've already talked about how it's all about them. It's not even about you when they're going off and spewing on their deal. But the first thing that you can do to protect yourself from others' negativity is starting with your daily meditation and grounding that I've been talking about. So when you start out that way, you start out centered, you start out calm, you start out clear-headed, and the more centered you are, the less affected you will be by others' negativity naturally. So that habit is going to go a long way. It's not just making you feel a tiny bit better. It will affect you in a lot of different ways. So another thing is whenever people are going all negative all over the place, don't emote over it. Just don't have a feeling about it. Let it be their thing. Just think to yourself, wow, I'm glad I'm not putting that much energy into all that negativity.
yeah.
let them have their feelings, and you don't need to have any feelings about it. When you start getting upset and all worked up and all negative and hurt and everything by other people spewing their negativity, then you're going to be in a negative place and you don't need to be. So protect yourself by not emoting about it.
It was meant to hear that.
Yes. So the next thing is, you know, the dog that gets like in a muddy, stinky mess and you have to go get your dog and you're like, oh, dang it now. As soon as you get to the dog, first thing they do is shake it all over you, right? So think of them being inside of a snow globe and all their negativity is like that dog's muddy, stinky mess. And it's just shaking all over in their little snow globe and it can't even get on you. So you can use that visual if you tend to be a visual person. Just see that person with all their negativity, just boo, 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 in their little snow globe. And doesn't even have to touch you. And another thing you can do to protect yourself is pretend that you are in your own globe. Now, this is where I'm going to talk about a shield method that I teach people to do. And not everybody gets to the point where they can do this, but everybody can try this and practice this until they can do this. So pretend you're in your own globe, or pretend there's just an aura of energy around you, whatever it is that makes you feel like you're protected in something. Nothing and no one else can affect you in there. Your energy is contained and untouched by anyone else's. So start by connecting to the feeling of who you are. And one way to do this is to just think of 3 things that connect you to you. When I started doing this, for me, it was this jean jacket I had and a pretty green sweater that I loved. And I can't remember, there was a third thing, but I just connected to those 3 things and I would say them over and over. And I would say my name over and over in my head until I just really felt tapped into my energy. And then just imagine that energy filling up that globe that you're in. And so that is your shield. That energy protects you, surrounds you, and shields you from anybody else's energy. And it takes a lot of energy to start doing this, to start practicing this. But as you practice it over and over, it will become quite natural. And I do this without even thinking about it now. I'll go into a room, think of my own energy, I'll feel it, and nobody can get in, nobody can penetrate it. I have to do it all the time because being a psychic medium, I'm super empathic and I'll pick up on everybody and everything. I'll know what everyone's doing, what they're up to, what their boss has an issue with this person and this person has a problem with their husband and it's too much. And so I've learned to just shield myself until I need to let something in, to talk to somebody or to help somebody. Okay, so the next step in releasing your toxicity releasing your toxicity is to examine your closest relationships. So when we get to this step, this is a tough one. This will require some conversations. And sometimes conversations won't change much, but they will lay down your boundaries. And your boundaries are vital to you being true to you and for you being real with others and ultimately also protecting your energy. So use your words when you're setting these boundaries. Be kind, be clear. It's completely useful and doable for even the most difficult people that you're having to talk to. This soothes you while you deliver it and softens them to receive it, but mostly it helps you to come from a place of love over fear. It's important to think of all your actions in life with others and your own as coming from a place of love instead of fear. If you're coming from a place of fear, it's not, the right thing isn't going to happen. You're not going to say the right thing. You're not going to respond the right way. It's going to be a mess. But if you're thinking of coming from a place of love, which is the opposite of fear, then it's going to be good. It's going to be beneficial. It's going to be true. And it's going to be more natural as well, because we all come from love. Okay, anybody have any questions so far at this point? I see Chris said, my mother, I roll. Difficult person. Unfortunately, a lot of us have a parent or two that is that toxic person that we need to have hard conversations with and protect ourselves from. So the next thing is to prepare for change. This is even harder than examining your closest relationships, because as you release what no longer serves you and you set boundaries with others and shift who you are spending more or less of your time with based upon who drains you, who makes you feel good, your entire life experience will change. Everything will change. But that's a good thing. Start thinking about change as evolution, because it's what's supposed to happen. Some big, scary changes may happen, but at this point, with honesty to yourself and being in a habit of releasing what doesn't serve you, it'll feel like a relief too. And that relief will give you all that you need to ride the change. So let the change come. As changes start to happen, you know, it might be an old instinct to say, oh, wait, ew, that doesn't feel good. But stop yourself. Like I was talking to you about changing your negative words. You can change that negative feeling about, ooh, difficult feeling, change. Say, oh, this is great. This is evolution. This is more of letting go of what doesn't serve me so that I can make room for what will. Good stuff change. So you can make that change in your mindset too. Now we're done talking about releasing toxicity, and I'm going to start talking to you about awakening. By this point, a spiritual awakening will be taking place as we've been doing all of this that I've been talking about so far. And by the way, for those of you that joined late, I am recording this. And so I'll be able to share the link for what I am doing today for those that missed some of it. There are many different levels of spiritual awakening. You will go through these throughout your life. Sometimes they're small and sometimes they're quite big. The body takes a while to catch up also after the spirit ascends to another level. So there can be detox symptoms. Oh, you're welcome, Robin. Thank you. But ride with it. Listen to your body's needs and know that this will pass. And so especially like when I do a Reiki attunement on somebody so that they can become a Reiki practitioner or Reiki master, I let them know it's going to be a few weeks before all of this settles in you, because your spirit goes here and your body has to climb up. And so as the body is climbing up to where your spirit just went, there's some icky feelings and ickiness, and you know, maybe you're having to release some things physically and doing some crying and doing some more time by yourself. That happens too as you go through different levels of spiritual awakening. You can get to this point where, gosh, do I have the flu? I don't know. I just feel bad and I'm cranky. Let yourself go through it. Be patient with yourself. You'll feel better on the other side. And drink a lot of water. That's always helpful. Here
I
are
have two
some.
questions.
What's that?
I have two questions.
Yes.
Okay, so the first one would be, does that also count with burnout? A little bit. Because I was I sort of felt it yesterday, and I gave myself a break from everything, and I feel better today.
Yeah. Whenever you feel burnt out, that it's also a good thing to just listen to your body. Take time away from everybody if you need to. Drink extra water. That's always going to be helpful.
That I should have done, but I slept.
Yeah. Sleeping's
Slept
good though. Sleeping's good. And then wake up and drink a big quart of water.
And then the other thing that you mentioned, there was something else that you said, like the last at the very end, and I don't remember what it was all of a sudden, but maybe you guys can have felt too. Since the full moon, I've been feeling something weird in like my third eye. Have you guys all been feeling that too, or no?
I have. Who else has? Maybe there's more people that are going to watch this later that have too, but that happens a lot as through different lunar cycles. Have you been experiencing it, Robin?
Yes.
Yeah.
You said something just now that reminded me of it, and I figured that might be a good time to at least ask it or something. I don't know.
A lot of the full moons and new moons that we're having lately are pretty intense, because lately this is a whole other topic, but there's been another level of the matrix lifted off the planet. And so
Mhm.
more and more people are awakening on deeper and stronger levels now. And so that makes these different lunar cycles that we're having more intense. And so people are going to feel more stuff.
Well,
So
I'm heading to go away. Sorry, keep going. I
ride with
interrupted.
it. It's a good positive evolution change. Ride with it.
No, I'm prone to migraines. Go.
Drink extra water. If one of my headache oil, what it is, good. It's a blend of lavender oil and peppermint oil, and it's 100% pure essential oil. And if you put that on your temples, you can put a little on your forehead. Also, if you get the migraines that crawl up the back of your neck, put some on that line on the back of your neck where they crawl up. That can be really, really helpful too, those headaches. And in fact, I created that because I was on 5 different medications for migraines and it wasn't helping. And I couldn't keep taking all the medicines I was taking. And so I went and started studying things. And that's how I got into herbs and became an herbologist, because I had to find other solutions for the things I was dealing with. And so I created that oil for the thing for my headaches. And it really, really helps. Let's see. Now, the first symptom of awakening is feeling disconnected or detached. At first, this process can feel overwhelming and confusing. It feels like everything you thought was true about life is now a lie. So you may suddenly feel disconnected from people and situations that you once felt very connected to. Who can relate to that one?
That was my 2016.
2016. Okay. Let's see. Becoming an herbologist and witch myself. Oh, awesome, Chris. Yay. Welcome. Welcome to the club.
I
2016.
feel like my whole, yeah, his was 2016. I think mine started in 2018 when I
Yeah.
left that church we were associated with, and out my entire friend group flipped, and just it's like an entirely different slate, an entirely different world. And now I know vibration that I associate with in my tribe and my people. But what
Yeah.
a tremendous difference. Wow. You couldn't
Yeah.
pay me to go back.
Uh-huh. Mine was in 2008. And I remember it, that was when I had my dark night of the soul, because I was so mad that I was lied to. And then it just, it took time, but that's where I was in 2008. So number 2 is, this is the second level, you've reevaluated your beliefs. You'll find more clearly what is important to you versus what you previously accepted as important to you. And I say accepted because you hadn't tapped into your authentic self yet. So you're like, yeah, this is important to me, but it really wasn't. And then once you start to be more true to you, you're like, no, this is important to me. You'll also find that old religious belief systems were part of the lie that you've realized. And so your beliefs will shift. You'll find yourself learning more things in areas that you never thought that you would. So who can relate to some of that? Ex-Mormon here, Chris says. Yep. I'm an ex.
Definitely.
Yep. Yep.
All my beliefs had to shift when I awoke to my twin flame connection. Because when I
Yeah.
realized a connection like that could be real, I had to reevaluate everything. That's not in the Bible,
Yeah.
but I knew it was real, and I just had to like dump the whole basket of beliefs that I had on the table and like go through it.
Exactly. Anybody else relate to that too? Okay. So then the next level is your dreams become more vivid. If you are someone who didn't usually dream, you will likely start. But I'll tell you, everybody dreams. It's how we process our day. Our brains would not be able to keep surviving if we didn't dream. You just don't remember them most of the time, but you will start remembering your dreams. And as your dreams become more memorable and more vivid, then your waking life becomes more vivid too. So it all reflects each other. Dreams are how we process our waking life, and so it's natural that everything will become more vivid. Who has experienced their dreams changing? Okay. So next level is your relationships begin to shift. This is where some of the toxicity will shift in your life if you let it. Fighting it will cause further blocks. This is your warning. If a relationship aligns with you, no matter how much spiritual awakening you go through, it will stay with you. If it doesn't, it will shift out of your life, or at least become something that you back most of your energy and time off eventually. So it's very natural for relationships to start to shift, unless they're supposed to be there where they are, because they totally align.
And
It's
it really, I'm sorry, Laura.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's what they say is so true. When you raise your vibration, people will either raise with you or vibrate out. I am watching that happening right now in my life, and it is continually like jaw dropping. The changes people are making in my circle, and I'm just like, anybody can change at this point. I'm just blown away, but it's so true. Just trust and raise your vibration, and those that aren't meant to be with you and in your circle, let them go, and it's okay. They'll be okay. You'll be okay. It's so
Love
worth it.
that.
And the ones that are, oh my gosh, believe that they can change and be open and watch them shift, and it's beautiful.
That's
Wow.
awesome. Thank you, Cody. I love that.
Yeah.
So you will experience, the next level is that you will start to experience more synchronicities and deja vu. So this includes what some consider coincidences happen all the time. I like to say there are no coincidences, because there aren't. Everything happens for a reason. And if you're seeing what seems like coincidences happening everywhere, those are synchronicities. If you are seeing angel numbers often, that's another type of synchronicity. Look into that. There's all kinds of apps you can find that are free that will tell you meanings of angel numbers. And if you're running into people right after thinking about them, that's a synchronicity. Deja vu means that you are on the path that you predetermined before this incarnation. You're learning and experiencing and doing what you are supposed to be doing and learning and experiencing. So this is all messages. Synchronicities are messages. Listen to them. As you awaken, your soul aligns with the universe, and you will be able to see the messages. So this is happening. If you're seeing the synchronicities, it's because you've gotten to this point in your ascension. So, and as a reader, I can be one of the types of people that can help you sort them out. I can learn how help you to discern some of the stuff. But who has experienced quite a bit of this in their journey so far? Yeah, I see Cody nodding.
I've been feeling or seeing a lot of angel numbers, but I also, so I listened to another podcast, and she said that when she wants her guides to talk to her, she says, "Can you show me a rainbow?" kind of a thing. And so I would kind of did the same thing, but I did it with license plates. So every time I'm driving, as I see the alphabet keep going or numbers keep going, I know that I'm kind of like on the right track.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
right now I'm on CQ, CR, I can't remember which one, so I forgot. But like, and like 106, 106. So it's really hard to like, because it's very hard to get those numbers. Those are kind of those things those synchronize best with it. Like I know someone's watching over me, like that kind of a thing.
That's so cool. Thank you so much, Chris. I've seen that also as a thing to do, where you can just ask the universe for sign. Show me this. Sometimes for me, it's like an orange triangle. Show me an orange triangle, and then I'll know that that's the answer that I was looking for. And it works that way. You can do that. So, anybody else have anything that they're experiencing with synchronicities and deja vu? Okay. So, and you can always just talk when I ask you to, or you can type anytime you want to in the chat also. So the next level is spirituality becomes important to you. As you connect more with your spirit, this will naturally become more important. That's just a given. It'll just be important to you. So who feels that spirituality is now important to them? I'm getting a yes on Cody, a yes on Chris. Great. So the next level is your intuition will raise. When you become more connected to your true self, you will more easily recognize truths everywhere. They will show up in your heightened intuition. So who feels like their intuition has just started to go up in their life? Yep, Cody. Chris, kind of. Okay. I would take a yes on that. If you feel like it maybe kind of, then it's a yes. It's starting to go up. And the next level is you will realize that everyone is on their own path. Your path has become more aligned for you, and so you will notice that others' paths will differ from yours, and that's right for them. Some things like winning arguments or convincing people of your views just don't matter so much anymore. Sometimes you're going to feel like you really need someone to know your thoughts and to plant a seed for them, but you're going to realize that they're on their own path. And so where they're at is right for them, and that's okay. Even if you know that they're living inside of that lie that you figured out early on. Anybody have any thoughts on that before I go on, or questions? Okay. Next is you will want to be of service. As you begin to notice the equality of every living thing, you will feel an importance of being purposeful to others, to the planet, to nature, to all of it. So the next one and the last one I have on my list is that your teachers find you. You will start to notice on this journey that teachers will just appear everywhere with perfect timing to help you. Sometimes those teachers are people with just the right things to say, and sometimes it's a life circumstance that teaches you what you need for the next thing that happens in your life. I see Cody smiling real big.
So true.
Yes, it is. And so anybody have any questions or comments before I go on from there? I'm here to learn. I have drifted so far from my true self. Oh, Robin, I'm glad you're here to learn, honey.
This number.
I'm glad you're here. So then the next, after this ascension topic, this awakening topic, I'm going to talk to you about getting to your truth. As you've been meditating and journaling and examining your triggers and earthing and protecting your energy, you will find that your truth will appear to you about a great many things. The further along you are with the spiritual awakening process, the more connected to your truth you become. It'll become loud. It'll talk to you all the time in a lot of different situations where it didn't before, where before you were just going through the motions and doing what you thought you were supposed to do. Whereas now your truth is saying, oh, wait, no, but this, and we need to do this. And no, we don't align with that. So your truth is going to get louder and louder. And it's important that the more it does, that the more you listen to it. Because if you don't, if you ignore it, it'll go away. And then you can be back on just doing whatever you think you're supposed to do and feeling icky and feeling stuck and not knowing why. So as your truth comes up, hear it, listen to it. So this truth will show up very quickly in your relationships. That's because we are a social people, even those of us that are introverts, including myself. Everything shows up in your relationships. That's why your relationships are there to mirror things to you. They're there for you to work things out. They're there for you to experience love, to experience, compassion, all of those things. Truth shows up there. This was already brought up in the spiritual awakening portion of this. We are social beings. We recognize what we are experiencing very quickly in our relation to others. Pay attention to what shows up in your relationships. Intuition was also discussed. Pay attention to what this says about your relationships too. Ignoring this will cause more blocks for you. which will lead to confusion, stress, lowered self-confidence, problems with your own relationship with yourself as well. So you'll start to hate yourself more and more the more you don't listen to that truth showing up for you and pay attention to it and keep yourself just aligned with the people that you feel aligned with. Speaking of intuition, pay close attention to this in all things all the time. The more you listen to your intuition, the more it will speak to you and the more it will have to say to you, the more it will guide you in every little thing. Like I could go this way or this way home and your intuition says, go this way. Okay, go, go that way. You don't know why. This way is 5 minutes closer, but whatever. Just listen to your intuition. You will thank yourself. I have found throughout my life, and everybody that I talk to that's learned to listen to their intuition has said the exact same thing, that whenever you don't listen to it, you wish you had. It's like, oh, dang it, my intuition told me I should have done this. I wish I did. So just get in the habit of listening to it. Even if you think you're just making it up in your head, you're not. Your intuition is speaking to you. Listen to it. And the more you ignore it, not only will the more you regret it, but doubt will start to set in stronger and stronger. You'll doubt yourself more, and you will become more and more disconnected from yourself. So listen to that intuition. It's really important. Who can relate to not always listening to their intuition or doubting it? Yeah. Everybody, at least at some point, will doubt themselves and will not listen. Always, always listen. So this inner truth will show up in a silent voice within or as a knowing, or sometimes you can literally feel every cell in your body pointing you to a certain way in life. You may not know knowledge-wise why, but everything in you will feel, I have got to go ask this person to marry me, or whatever it is. You know, I've got to go jump in the lake right now. I don't know why, but just really pay attention to whatever your intuition is telling you, whatever that inner truth, that feeling, that knowing that's going to be within you will say to you. Start listening for it, and it will talk to you. Let's see. I'm going to go up a little, see what I've missed. You are my teacher, and this miss meeting with you. And I miss meeting with you too, Robin. So this is also something to know. This is a very important time on the planet right now. There's something kind of weird happening right now because every time I do readings for people, I'm finding that similar things are popping up in all the readings. And so by that happening, I can see the shifts, the things that are happening on the planet just through multiple readings that I'm doing with people all the time. It's kind of strange, but because we are all a part of this planet, so there's a lot of similarities that we're going to experience. And this is a time of healing our generational patterns, those patterns from generation to generation to generation of toxicity, of not listening to your intuition, of maybe the parents beating up the children or whatever it is, all of those generational histories and patterns. This is a time right now on the planet that we are healing it. And it's not easy, but it's super important. And by doing this, we are evolving together collectively as a planet, as a whole. And we are healing this planet, this whole as well. So allow yourself to go through this healing process. Allow yourself to tap into what's true for you. Allow yourself to awaken and be patient with yourself and be kind, because it's important. You're breaking patterns. Same, I did 5 video readings and the Justice card came up in all 3 of them. Yeah, isn't that weird when that happens? So now, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is reaching out to go deeper. Once you reach a certain point in your own spiritual journey and find that there are still blocks, it may be time to reach out for assistance to continue and fully release all of your blocks. these blocks may still be holding you in some toxic patterns. So one of the things you can reach out for is Reiki. I myself am a triple Reiki master. Cody is also a Reiki master. Different decks too. Yeah, me too. Of course, you know I have a lot of decks too. You have more decks than I do, I think. You've got a lot of decks. But I train people. I'm a trainer of my master my healer's mastery course, where I attune you and train you to all 3 types of Reiki that I have, as well as other types of healing that I do. And so Reiki is something that is an ancient method of healing that heals all areas: mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. All areas must be healed for there to be true healing, because they're all connected. Mental, spiritual, physical, they're all connected. Reiki provides mental clarity, calmness, more levels of awakening, relief of pain and discomfort, reduction of anxiety and stress. It strengthens the immune system. It promotes healing. It balances the energy in the chakras, assists in weight loss. It releases toxins, promotes health and well-being, relieves depression, helps digestive issue, aids in the life purpose discovery, helps one to lead to oneness and peace. And so if you find someone who can help you by doing some Reiki on you or for you, and it can be done distantly by a Reiki master, or if you want to get attuned yourself so that you can do this for yourself as you go on your journey, that's another thing you can do. Another thing that you can find is sound healing. Sorry, go ahead. Okay. You can also find sound healing for free on a lot of different areas and platforms. On YouTube and Facebook, there's a lot of people playing their crystal singing bowls and their forks and everything. So you can find a lot of that for free. There's a lot of different binaural beats that you can find on YouTube. Sound healing is many, many benefits. I'm a sound healer myself. I have my crystal singing bowls and my tuning forks. I know that Robin, you've experienced my forks at least. Cody's experienced both. Anna, I think you've experienced both. But sound healing awakens dormant DNA. Talk about a great way to break through some blocks, huh? It reduces stress, enables tremendously better sleep, improves health, relieves physical and emotional pain, boosts creativity, balances the chakras, provides a deep relaxation, loosens blockages, both physically and spiritually. Yes, that is what I mean. Improves concentration and stimulates awakening. I have had many past life regression sessions happen through just sound healing, where people are starting to recall a whole life sequence in a past life just by using my sound healing as we go. And then another one is hypnotherapy. That is another tool that I use. It's ideal and truly effective to finally fully break through the past and any blocks that you have had and want to shift. So much of our brain works on the subconscious level. Only about 10% of it works on the conscious level. So to make real, deep, and lasting change, connecting with the subconscious is necessary. I am fully trained and certified in 3 types that I have used on hundreds of clients now, at least hundreds. It might be more than that by now. It has helped them to fully release deep childhood traumas, release karmic cycles, experience past lives leading to this one, and released spiritual attachments and more. At this point, does anybody have any questions on some of these healing methods? Let me read some of these notes too. 65 plus decks. Wow, that's a lot of decks. Yeah, you do have more than me. I think I have about 50. Yeah, Anna says it's sound healing's not nearly as good in video as it is in person. That's true. I've tried very hard to get a good recording on the sound healing, and it's very difficult to get a good recording of it. It's super effective and amazing when it's in person. Okay. So now putting it all together, if you want to go all in, truly deeply shifting everything that hasn't worked for you in the past, I do have my personalized spiritual transformation system that combines all of my coaching and healing methods in order to give you that full transformation that you have been wanting. What we do is we start by going over what's in store for you, what you can expect, what's needed from you, and we can set up a payment plan if you need to. And I do all of that through just a free discovery call. You just set up a call with me. We can talk in video like this. I like you doing video. I like being able to see people and letting them see me and deciding what system. And I personalize this for each person, for what you're going through, for what you need. And so through me, you get regular contact with me. And if an emergent question or concern comes up, you have admission to my Facebook groups and camaraderie with others, and you can talk with me personally. You get readings as you need them, Reiki as you need it, and a program set up and designed specifically for you and your needs. We look at what you've been thinking, feeling, believing, dealing with, and then we look at what the way that you want to think, feel, believe, and create for yourself. And then we set you up to see and create only that. So now, in summary, I have given you, but before I go to the summary, does anybody have any questions on that so far, working with me? Anybody have any questions on that? Okay. So in summary, I have given you lots of tools that you can use on a daily basis now to start a journey to a better you. I have given you some explanations on different healing modalities. And finally, I just want to leave you with so much love and inspiration and motivation as I can possibly share with all of you from my spirit to yours. You are meant to have and be and do what you dream of. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the dream. So go forward knowing that you can. I love all of you. Thank you so much. Bye. Everybody have a blessed evening. I'm going to sign out.
You too, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.